Okay, so here's my review of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Castlevania Symphony of the Night was a game that was originally created for the PS1 and has been released on the PSP as well as the PlayStation Network. In Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you play as the main character, Alucard, who's on a mission to see why Dracula's castle has reappeared. Now, he does this after finding out that Richter has already gone ahead of him. And you play as Alucard going through this castle, trying to find Richter and trying to figure out why it's reappeared. Now, you're playing as Alucard, who happens to be the son of Dracula, but he doesn't follow in his father's footsteps. Now, one thing I liked about this game that kept me coming back to it was the combat and weapon system. There is pretty much a type of weapon in there for almost anybody, and depending on the weapons you have equipped, really decides, aside from your skill, how effective you are against certain bosses and monsters. Like, one thing most people don't know is they see the rusty sword and think it's not good for anything, but it's quite effective against the doppelganger boss. Now, I've made stupid challenges like, trying to go through the game with one particular armor set or no armor or one particular weapon set. And it's not limited to just weapons and armor. You also have items and magic. The magic is really cool in the game because really it's unlocked from the beginning. All you have to do is have enough mana and know the button combination. So Steel is very useful. And once you've input the command once, the command actually goes into your menu so that if you forget how to do it, you can always refer to that to learn how to do it. Additionally, there's summons you can get. There's a fairy, a skull, a demon, and I think one or two others that I'm just not remembering at this point. Oh, a bat. Additionally, Alucard also gains new, or I should say relearns particular abilities from his past. He learns how to transform into a wolf, as well as transform into a bat, as well as transform into mist. And all these abilities are required to make it through the castle. Another of the things I enjoyed about the game was that it had multiple endings. If you went on one facet, you took out Richter at the end of the game, or what you thought was the end of the game, and you really get the worst ending possible. Whereas if you take the time to explore the castle, you meet up with Maria a few times, and actually find out that Richter's been acting strange, and if you investigate further, you find an item that will allow you to see that Richter has been possessed, and fight the possession rather than fighting Richter, leading you into the second part of the castle, where it's actually an upside-down version of it, where there's harder enemies and more things to do. And while most players may feel like they're exploring the same castle twice, and while it is true, it doesn't feel the same because everything's been flipped over, the enemies have changed, and things get a little more challenging. Another of the things I really loved about the game is I love the soundtrack to it. The soundtrack, while you would think it's really old and repetitive, it doesn't. It's not that every area has this new and fresh feel, because, it's very dramatic, it's very, very dark in some places, but overall, it sets a good tone for the game. Now, another of the things that I really loved about the game was the time and effort they put into the graphics. If you look at each of the characters and all that they had to do for the sprite sheet sport and how smooth and awesome the pixel work came out for it, you can see what I'm talking about. From the backgrounds to the effects to the monsters that you fight, they put a lot of time and detail into this game. So overall, if I had to give Castlevania Symphony of the Night a rating, I would give it a 9.5 out of a 10.